Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take life for granted. I don't take you for granted. I want to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, and you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you are great. I hope at this juncture, at this place, at this point, as we go into the last quarter of this year, that you believe that you receive it, that even on days that you may be heavy, you may be down, you can pick yourself up and remind yourself that you are healthy, you are wealthy, and you are prosperous. At this point, by faith, I believe that it is not dictated on what people say, what people think, what your situation look like, what your bank account look like. It comes from that shanana that is on the inside of you. Okay. I don't say words lightly. I don't take them for granted. I don't say them for fluff. And anyone who knows me, even if you don't know me personally, at this point, if you've been plugging in, you should know enough to know that I don't do that. Okay. Everything that I say, everything that I speak, it is because what I feel, it's because what I believe. I believe that I know that we are supernatural in a natural place. We're spirit with a soul wrapped in flesh. And I can speak those things that are not as though they are, not in a state of delusion, not in a state of fairy tale, not in a state of fantasy, but with hope, with love, and assurance that I understand that greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Okay? We can do personal growth and self development all day, but at the end of the day, I tell you all the time, the Bible, that's the book for me. It should be the book for you because everything is found in it. Anything we talk about, everything we talk about, our days are predestined, our days are preordained. Nothing happens by chance or surprise to Jehovah God, just to us. So when we get to a place where we understand that, that's how you learn how to count it all joy. Any trial, any tribulation, anything that's happening that you don't understand, it doesn't look the way you want it to look. You will, by faith, understand the power and the authority that you possess, that you really can move mountains and you can change situations. You can speak those things that are not as though they are. Man, somebody needed to hear that today because that ain't even what we're talking about. I needed to hear it. Okay. We got to get to that place. There is nothing that dictates, controls, or rules you by the things that you can naturally see. You believe it? If you believe it, you'll walk it out. All right. So here's the thing. Now I feel like I done got on the soapbox. See, this what happened when that good government job tell you come to work anyway. Not that I don't need my job, because I need my job. I want my job. I don't need it because I understand that my resources come from a supernatural place. Okay. But he has put in place streams and revenues and income for us. All right. So that good government job is one of many streams for me. So when they said we were gonna work today, y'all ain't gonna lie. When someone told me that they didn't do the shutdown, I was like, oh, not that I don't want to work, but I really need to clean this garage out. But anyway, so we've been talking, okay? We've been talking. And ooh, Lord, that's just a reflection that I need some more self-management. Lord, because time is time. But anywho, we up until this point, we're talking about relational intelligence, okay? We're talking about, or we have talked about really that external and that outward look, all right? Who has access to us and why? Do we have the people in the right places in the right positions, okay? You remember there's 4 buckets, all right? Everyone falls into one of them. Ultimately, though, you got your inner circle, your outer circle, and the ones that are outward. Okay. So we gotta always know where people should be placed, okay? Because that's not necessarily for the people. It's blessings go both ways, as we know, but we're really doing that because of how we choose to conduct ourselves. All right. You got to know where people are with you. You have to examine and evaluate your relationships so you know how much you give. Okay. A lot of times people say, I'm too emotional. I will not receive that anymore. All right. Do I have more emotions than some people? Maybe, but that's okay because I'm understanding that it's up to me not to have them displaced. But the way that I feel and the way that I love and the way that I do whatever, it is strategically planned for me. Okay. So doing relational intelligence, it helps us recognize who has access to us and why, recognize where we may have relationships displaced, but ultimately it's for you to be the best version of you unapologetically. And you learn to do it in these external relationships. That's what builds your submission. That's what builds your humility. Okay. We don't do these things arrogantly or proud. We do them so that we can be the best versions of us, so that we can pour out clean water. All right. If somebody want to drink off my cup, I want it to be purified, sanctified, filled. All right. I don't want you drinking dirt from my cup, and I don't want to drink dirt. Okay. So that is why it is important to have a relational intelligence. Okay. But up until this point, we've done the external. We've looked at the people, we've placed them in the right places. Okay. What I want us to focus on this week, because we're gonna wrap up this relational intelligence. We in the last quarter of this year. Okay, we've got to have, at this point, we in October, y'all. December, like right around, closer to the end and the beginning. At this point, when you do self-evaluation, because that's what I want you to do. I want you to stop looking at who and what around you. And now we got to learn, we point the finger. We got to deal with these three fingers and this thumb that's pointing at us. Okay. So the biggest thing in keeping people where they are is friends. Okay. It's that inner circle. It's who has access to you and why. So we've been looking at it. We've weeded out. We know who's supposed to be there. We know who's not. Now, I got to ask you to look at you. Okay? We should all want relationship, because that's what Jehovah God has created. He's created us to be relational. Okay? We should all desire friendship. We should all desire closeness, oneness, all of that. All right? It's just healthy. But you got to make sure that you are healthy in what you're desiring. Are you what you're looking for? Okay. What kind of friend are you? And this is how we're going to wrap up the relational intelligence. Because now that we've dealt with outward, I need you to deal with inward. What kind of friend are you? All right. There are three types of friends you can be. You can be a friend, the friend we'd like to be, the friend others wants us to be, or the friend that God needs us to be. Okay? Let me say that again, because I want you to figure out, what type of friend are you? You want healthy relationships? You want healthy friendships? Are you healthy? You want a friendship that is loyal, that's honest? Are you loyal and honest? All right. Listen. It even talks about in Proverbs, friendships. Okay. Friendships are healthy, but the question becomes, are the ones you calling friends healthy? All right. I don't know about you, but at this juncture in my journey, I don't want toxic friendships. I don't want toxic relationships, but I have to be honest and true with me and ask myself, am I toxic? You know how they say birds of feathers flock together? you attract what you are. Y'all know that's true, right? It's the truth. Okay. So you got to be able to have relational intelligence that's based on you. And you've got to be willing to see yourself. Okay. You got to know most of the time when we think of friendship, when we think of relationship, it's based off of what we desire. Okay. If like I said, if you want people around you that are full of joy, you want people around you that are positive, you want people around you that's going to fill you and become an asset to you, not a liability. You got to ask yourself, are you an asset and not a liability? Are you healthy? Do you bring drama to the relationship or do you bring resolve? Okay. This is all still relational intelligence. So we talked about the three, all right? Relational intelligence isn't just about assessing other relationships. We've got to be able to assess ourselves, all right? So here's the thing. You got to remember that self-assessment it's necessary in all relationships. So you think about coworkers. Y'all know anybody who got a job. It's always someone on the job we gonna talk about. There's a person on the job that just worked that good nerve. There's a person on the job that you can talk about the person that worked on the good nerve. There's a person at that job that you feel comfortable enough to learn from. It holds all these different things because it's an environment. It's a posture. It's a place. But you got to be willing to look at yourself. Are you any parts of what you complain about? All right. So that one that's working that good nerve, are you a nerve wrecker? Are you that itch on the scab? You got to be willing to look at you. All right. When we know better, we can do better. So when you want a healthy relationship, you got to be willing to be healthy. You got to work on you, what you want, because you remember, we give most of the time. When you think about the three types of friendships, let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do this. Okay. Hold on. For the friend that we'd like to be, okay? When you go into wanting to be the friend that we want to be, sometimes we're not what that person needs us to be. You got to recognize this, okay? So I'm the type of person, anyone around me, they say, listen, that I'm spoiled. I am spoiled, okay? I'm spoiled. I've been blessed. All right? And in that blessing, sometimes you get highly favored. I'm no longer ashamed of that. All right? It is what it is. I'm spoiled. Now, what I strive not to be is a spoiled brat. Okay? It's a spoiled brat. There's a difference. We all spoiled in some kind of way. Alert, revelation, light bulb, click on. We're all spoiled in some kind of way because we all want what we want. All right? But when you get to be like a spoiled brat and you are so self-absorbed that you don't care about other people, that's when it become a problem. All right. But you gotta recognize with yourself and ask yourself, am I that friend that I give friendship the way I would like for it to be? It's very easy for you to befriend someone based off of the things that you want and the things that you like. Okay. I like to go drink tea. I like to go sit in a restaurant for hours. It's in the blood. I can't help it. My grandma did it. My dad did it. I do it. I got my kids doing it. Like it's what I like. All right. So in a friendship, first thing I'll be like, you want to go drink some tea? You want to go you listen, it's what I like. Now, what I have to recognize and ask myself when I think of someone, am I that friend that I want to be? to that person? The answer is usually yes. Okay? Then I got to ask the second question that becomes a little harder. Is that what that friend needs from me? Most of the time, the answer is no. Okay? So when you think about wanting friendship and relationship, you got to be true to you. All right? If I have a friend, I got Nancy, Tia, they all live at least 45 minutes away from me. If they drive 45 minutes, they're driving because maybe they need something in the friendship. Sometimes they may be coming because they want to see me, and that's cool. But sometimes they may be coming because it's something they need. All right? In friendship, it's almost selfish of me to not be able to give them what they need, or not even care enough to try to figure out what they need. So we might be able to still go and sip tea, but in the sipping tea, am I doing what I normally do? Or am I willing to give from myself what they need from me? See, this is why when it comes to relationship, you have to be intentional. You got to be intentional to watch people, watch what they need, watch what they want. In friendship, I'm talking about friendship specifically now, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with all these buckets, even while we were dealing with them, the friend one was the biggest one, all right? Making sure we had the right people around us for the right reasons. But now you got to deal with you in that small bucket, okay? So, are we the friend we would like to be? Because that's what comes natural and that's the easiest, all right? Friends others want us to be. Now, let me tell you the danger in this. Let's say that you like somebody and you have a friendship, but you begin to conform to them. The danger in being a friend that someone else wants us to be is you can become dishonest. I'm not saying you would lie to them, but you will become dishonest to yourself. Okay? And it's dangerous because you just might want to be with the in crowd. You want to hang out with this person, or you think they're cool or they fly. You like their little vibe or whatever. And then you go in and you become the friend that they want you to be. If you're not careful with that, you could be used, you could be manipulated, you could be walked over, you could lose yourself in someone else. That's not healthy either. There has to be a balance with everything. All right. So that's that person that it's almost like the yes person. Okay. Know that they wrong. Know what you're doing wrong. And then find themselves in wrong. The reason that you got to be careful with that is because, and I tell my nephews this all the time. Thankfully they're older. Just when they were younger, but they were, they're both like very introverted, chilled, real chill dudes, right? But I used to tell my sister, I didn't tell them more, so I would say it, but more to my sister, like, you got to be careful with that, because if they get with the wrong people, they'll be the ones that get caught in everything. All right. If they with the wrong person, like you got that friend that just can do everything, or have you go do everything for them. And then when you get in trouble, we ain't in trouble. I'm in trouble because they don't never get caught. All right. That scenario. I hope that makes sense. So the friend others want us to be, that's not healthy either, because then you pour out so much to them, you begin to get grieved. Then you disgruntled and you irritated and frustrated, and they don't understand why, because their life is still gravy. All right. There ain't nothing changed in their world. You just sitting over here like, for real. But then you're not honest. And they be like, ain't that right, Nicole? Yep. No, sir, no, ma'am. That's not healthy. All right. But you got to know that in friendship, in relationship, there is a friend in each one of us that God needs us to be. Okay. God needs us to be. Now, you think about that person. The friendships that I want, the relationships that I want, are the ones that are agape. Now, I'm sure all y'all heard that word, agape love. It's a Greek word, all right? It's godly love. It's called agape, right? Agape love is an incomparable benevolence. It is a commitment to always do what's in the best interest of that person. Godly love is loving the person even more than the relationship. Loving the person even more than the relationship. Boy, I'm gonna tell you, when and from friends, this might have been bad revelation. When I realized, because this is the thing, and I say it all the time. See, I be talking. This is why I tell y'all, I may talk a lot, but I promise you, it comes from a place of purpose. All right. I don't just throw words around, good or bad. But I tell a lot of people, I love you enough to hurt your feelings and walk away from you than to walk you down the path to hell. Now, a lot of people don't like that. But what I mean by that is, listen, I care about you enough that I ain't going to be a part of something that I believe is going to take you to the wrong place. And if you don't want to talk to me anymore, I want to talk to you, but I got to respect that posture and I'll stand on it. Okay. Now, the receiver of that, it don't feel good. It don't feel good. Especially if, I've had to face a lot of wrath with this. Be it if it was from my kids, my friends, whoever I'm in a relationship with, whatever. Some stuff, I'm very adamant, right is right and wrong is wrong, and it does not change with the players, okay? But when I realized that comes from a place of agape love, it really does, because I am really one, I'd rather go through a period of being hurt than to watch you self-destruct or to be a part of the destruction, okay? I don't get down like that. Like I just don't. And I know that it does not feel good, but it is what we should all strive for. All right. Because when you really in relationship with somebody, your ultimate goal should be first based out of love, and it should be what's best for them. But you got to remember, even in friendship, in relationship, what's best for you or what you think is best for you is not always the truth. All right. You got to be that friend that's willing to draw the line in the sand for the right reasons, in the right posture, and with the right intentions. All right. You got to be the one. Like, listen, I love you enough to let you go. And I think that when you take that approach, sometimes people think that you're like being disingenuous, or you're like, well, for me, I can't talk about y'all. I think when I take this approach with someone, they feel like I'm being like sarcastic or whatever. I'm really not. Okay. I love my husband. But if it gets to the point where I am so unhealthy for him, I got to love him enough to let him go. All right. Now, Nicole, you ain't right. God honors marriage. Absolutely. And if I believe that, then I should want to work on me to be healthy. All right. And I would hope he would want to work on him to be healthy. But at the end of the day, when someone decides in any relationship, all right, if it's friendship, if it's intimate, if it's coworker, when one of y'all decide not to deal with yourself with an agape love for yourself, even if you don't know what the word is or what it means, you should know at this point you should be handling you from a healthy place. Somebody got to make a decision, because I'm either gonna die for you or I'm gonna die for me. Okay? But when you have these tough conversations, when they're built off love, once you get past the emotional part, either you believe I love you or you don't. Okay? Because sometimes loving is having to walk away. I love Kadeja. All right? She my ride or die, okay? I'd have known this girl since I was 19 years old. Met her when I was 20. She has walked with me foot to foot for 30 years. But ask Kadeja if she's doing something that I think is going to destroy her. Will I touch it? I love you though, but ooh-wee, sometimes I gotta pull away. I can't walk in that with her. I never throw her away. I ain't never gonna throw her away. Okay? But it brings tough conversations. It brings things she don't understand. It brings things I don't understand. Because I want to be there. I want to help. But some things I just can't touch. Not because I don't love her, but because of how much I do. Man, what time is it? Good, 10:29. I'm going to drop it and leave it right there. Listen, we are doing relational intelligence, okay? Relational intelligence. And we have dealt with and put people in the right places with us. We have categorized. We are being the best versions of us. We learning to daughter ourselves through a posture of submission and humility. We ain't walking around here arrogant. We are not walking around here proud. So now we got to continue to do the inner work, all right? You got to deal with the enemy that's in the inner me, okay? And you got to be able to look at yourself, know what it is that you desire, and be willing to look at whether or not you give what you're looking to receive, all right? Any place that we're not, start doing it, but do it from a place of an agape love, a place where you love someone more than something, okay? You love their soul. You want to be a good steward of your soul so that they can be good for theirs, all right? So remember to stay focused. Is it 10:30? Yeah. Stay humble, stay positive, all right? Go back and listen to this because that was a whole lot in a little bit of time. It was an overview. Can't even get in the depth of it, okay? But continue to be the best version of you, unapologetically focused, humble. I can't even positive. I'm all over the place. Stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. All right. Continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.